What is going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is John. Today, a big box good. The Spoke Brightz tube lights I picked up at Dick's Sporting Goods for $10.98. Today, an unboxing. Let's see what comes in the box, an installation, see just how easy this is to install, and a test ride at the end. We'll test these in both the daylight and at night to see just how bright they are. I am someone who commutes to work. During the day, it's fine, but at night, I need additional lighting. I have a light on the front of my bike, but I figured, why not the back of my bike? So a couple of days ago, I went to Dick's Sporting Goods looking for LED lights, whether they be strip lights or tube lights or maybe a cap for the air cap with an LED light. I've seen that. I found the wheel Brightz for $10.98. When I installed the wheel Brightz, which, by the way, there are multiple brands of Brightz lights. So you get Cosmic Bright, Cruising Bright, Wheel Brightz, Spin Brightz. So here we actually have the wheel Brightz and we have the Spin Brightz. But the unfortunate part was during the setup and installation, I actually cut an important wire, ruining the wheel Brightz. So I went back to Dick's Sporting Goods, looked to buy another wheel Brightz, but didn't have any on the shelf, so I bought the Spin Brightz. And needless to say, I think this will be easier to install. Just a couple of questions I have. Does this include a battery pack? Do the tube lights power themselves? Let's do the unboxing first impressions and find out just exactly what we need and get them set up and do a test ride. Okay, like I said, at Dick's Sporting Goods, when I returned, I needed to buy a second wheel Brightz LED light tube because I actually broke the first pair installing it. I cut something in the wrong place and they broke. So, not wheel Brightz's fault, it's my fault. Easy enough actually to set up and install, and as you can see, compared to the Spin Brightz, a very similar installation process. You get the battery pack. The battery pack you actually attach to the inside of the spokes. It's a little bit bulky actually compared to the Spin Brightz. This looks a little bit more streamlined and easier to assemble. Though I will say the wheel Brightz are more versatile. You can do more patterns with them, and they don't necessarily need to go on the tire. You can actually attach the battery pack to the frame and string the lights around the frame of the bike, not the tire. Can't do both at the same time, strap the battery pack to the frame and have the lights on the tire, but needless to say, I think the wheel Brightz LED light tube is a little bit more versatile. It's a little more customizable with the different types of patterns, and like I said, place these maybe on the frame of your bike in addition to the tire. But this wheel spoke light set, definitely for the tire only, makes it less versatile. But I think, as you can see, even though similar accessories to get it started in the box, you get the T-strap here and here. Because this, I think, is a little bit more focused on being for the spokes of the tires, it's just by nature going to be a more streamlined and simple process. So, as you can see, very similar. The battery pack has a wire that runs into the light tube for the wheel Brightz, just as it does with the Spin Brightz. Both the same brand, and also, by the way, you can get this on Amazon, and I suggest Amazon over Dick's Sporting Goods, because a wider variety of colors, of course, are available. Not all of them are sold at Dick's Sporting Goods. So even though we won't compare the brightness of the wheel Brightz to the Spin Brightz, stick around because we can at least still compare the setup and installation process and compare some of the different features. Now, what I appreciate compared to the wheel Brightz is how simple and streamlined the installation looks out of the box. So just like the wheel Brightz, of course, you get the T-strip that attaches to or clips to the side of the battery pack. But like I said, what makes this a little bit more streamlined and simpler to install, I assume, is the fact this Spin Brightz kit is actually one entire piece. Everything comes connected out of the box and is self-explanatory to set up. So on the spokes themselves are clips that attach to the spokes of the bike tire. And then of course, everything is connected and runs into the battery pack / button. So at the top, it's a button, you get a pulsating light or maybe a strobe light. And then of course you get a hazard type light. And then if you want a solid light for cruising, having fun, and then of course it's as simple as pressing the button a 4th time to turn them off. So let's go ahead and see just how quick and simple this is to install. Like I said, what I appreciate compared to the Wheel Brightz is this kit is one single piece. You don't have to attach anything, and even better, you don't need to cut anything. Okay, now that we've done the setup and installation, a couple of additional features I'd like to share. Because out of the box it comes as one single piece, it was easy to install. It took no more than 15 minutes. That way, if you want them installed the same day and ride the bike at night, it's easy to do so. Or ride them during the day, and we'll test that out. But okay, a couple of additional tips and features. Setting the spoke lights, you want them separated as far apart from each other as possible. This not only keeps the appearance of the spoke lights tidy, but it cuts down on the amount of leftover wiring or slack, which can then be caught maybe on a tree limb if you run over a tree branch, or maybe if something on your bike is jagged for whatever reason. Maybe you're traveling with a backpack and some kind of strap falls down and gets caught. You don't want it tangled up in your Spoke Brightz wheel lights because you have leftover wiring or because they're too close to one another and there's slack left over. So separate them from as far apart as one another. It looks cleaner, it looks tighter, and it's also safer. It keeps them from snagging on things. Remember, the wheel is a moving object. You want it to continue moving freely, not to snag. Okay, and the final feature I wanted to mention, what makes the Wheel Brightz even safer, not mentioned at the beginning of the video or even on the packaging, is setting them up. It's hard, actually, not to set them up counterclockwise. Because they set up counterclockwise, it actually draws more attention to them. That way, if you're riding at night, instead of having them look casual or maybe neutral, they instead look maybe a little bit aggressive or a little bit advanced, sort of drawing attention to them, giving it a more safer appearance, I think. At night, people are more inclined to look at something a little bit out of the ordinary or interesting. That way, it's safer in that regard. So, setting them up, of course, set them up as far apart away from each other. And like I said, what makes these safe is they set up counterclockwise, making them easier to see at night. Now for a comparison between daytime and nighttime. Let's go through each function now. Simply press the button. Function 1 is a flashing strobe. Simply press the button once more. A flashing hazard. Give the wheel a good spin. And last but not least is solid blue. Okay, now that we've demonstrated each function daytime, let's demonstrate each function nighttime. Function 1, flashing strobe. Let's go ahead and give the wheel a good spin. Ooh, very cool. Love how streamlined and simple the setup process was. or is, I should say. Press the button once more for a flashing hazard. Let's go ahead and give the tire a good spin, just to get a good idea what these lights function like at night, each function. And finally, solid blue, which, as you can see, just as fun and interesting. So that has been an unboxing, a first impressions, a demonstration. Today we talked about the setup and installation. We tested the brightness of the Spoke Brightz, but I think from the beginning of the video you may recall me breaking the wheel Brightz. Unfortunately, we could not test the difference in brightness, but what I can tell you is the setup and installation process is different. A little bit easier and streamlined with the Spoke Brightz. They are spoke lights that have hooks that attach to the spokes of your bike, and attached is a battery pack with an integrated button. It's weather resistant. So too are the spokes themselves. They are extremely easy to set up and install. Like I said, because out of the box they come as one single piece, they also come with batteries installed. The wheel Brightz require 3 AA batteries. The battery box is just slightly larger. It probably consumed more power. The wheel Brightz not only cover the entire span of an adult-sized bike wheel, they also can be used anywhere else on the bike. You can attach the battery pack to. So wrap them around the frame of the bike and use them that way, or use them on the tire as intended. It can be done a variety of ways. And in fact, because these options are so inexpensive, both are $10.98, do both. Now, buying these for the first time at Dick's Sporting Goods, they had blue and blue only. Pink was also available for the spoke lights. I did not see that color, and I was not interested in buying pink. So blue it is. On Amazon, you can find these in a variety of different colors. You can also find wheel caps, not by the same company, but needless to say, a little bit more variety on Amazon compared to Dick's Sporting Goods. But hey, the setup and installation process was simple and easy to do. I really appreciate a good quality product that makes the user experience good all around. I think the Spoke Brightz qualify for that, and so too do the wheel Brightz. It was my mistake perhaps cutting the cord. I actually yanked on it and it split, and unfortunately was not able to buy a second set to test it out further. But a little bit more flexibility here and customization or customizability with the wheel Brightz. So with that being said, let's close this video. I think you saw the setup and installation process. It was super seamless and I couldn't be any happier. Maybe not so much the wheel Brightz, but for sure the Spoke Brightz. Okay, so because I picked these up at Dick's Sporting Goods, that does make them a big box good, each for $10.98. Today we tested the Spoke Brightz spoke lights. Today you saw the unboxing, first impressions. Hit that like button, subscribe, tell your friends and family, share this video, hit the bell icon to get notified when we post to YouTube, and also comment below your experience, or if you have any questions. I plan on buying or riding with the spoke lights for months, weeks and months to come. What I actually appreciate about the spoke lights, actually what I wanted to mention earlier compared to the wheel Brightz, is the spoke lights actually act or look more like a function of the bike. They're neat, they're tidy, they're clean looking, and they're also very simple and easy to install, like I said, which again makes them feel like a part of the bike. Once you set them up, you don't see the wires, which I think takes away from maybe the wheel Brightz LED light strip, for example, because it does require some improvisation. It can possibly or potentially look bad, right? We've all seen people customize things and do a bad job. Now, the advice I have for installing the light tube is to almost wrap it around the rim like you're tying a shoelace and wrap it through each post, or snake it, I should say, through each post. That in turn gives it, I think, a more complete look, a more organized look, a more finished and professional look. But to each their own. Like I said, you run the risk with the wheel Brightz of making it look maybe just a little bit gimmicky if you set them up incorrectly. With the spoke lights, like I said, even though less customizability, they are for the tire only, they do look more functional and less childlike, I also think. So with that being said, let's close this video out. My name is John. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been a setup and installation of the Spoke Brightz, or Spin Brightz and Wheel Brightz LED lights for your bicycle or scooter even. The Wheel Brightz, I think, would be great for the scooter. My name is John. Thanks again so much for tuning in. I will see you in the next video.